Real estate laws differ with each state. In a few states, houses with a reputation for being haunted are often referred to as stigmatized properties. These properties, psychologically impacted by events that occurred or were suspected to have occurred on the property, even if they had no physical impact. This stigma, whether from ghosts, crime, or misfortune, can make it difficult to sell the property, regardless of the physical condition of the home. This week, the Jackalopes explore haunted real estate.
This week's episode of Jackalopes Explore is brought to you by Cloud Peak Center Lanes and Games, located at 1520 Coffeen Avenue in Sheridan. Stop in today to check out their amazing new arcade and prize counter, offering games and prizes for all ages and skill levels. From their full-service lounge to bowling alley and arcade, there is something for everyone. Cloud Peak Center Lanes and Games. Stop in today.
I'm Floyd Whiting.
I'm Aaron Linden.
I'm Steve Sisson.
And I'm a ghost.
And we are your Jackalopes. We're four friends who discuss conspiracies, the paranormal, ancient mysteries, and the supernatural. All right. Now, my introduction and pretty much everything that I have comes from a Library of Congress blog. The blogger, Sarah Friedman, talks about the legal responsibilities of both sellers and buyers of stigmatized property and how they vary state to state. In New York, deaths, crimes, or stigmatizing features of a property are not required to be disclosed to a seller, but the buyer may inquire as to any of these concerns, and the seller may choose whether or not to respond to the inquiry. Pennsylvania law has upheld similar requirements. One such case concluded that psychological damage to a property cannot be considered a material defect in the property, which must be revealed by the seller to the buyer.
What if the walls are bleeding?
See, that would be a physical defect, I would think.
We've got a lot of different stories and things that really look at these, but it does vary by state, because we kind of broke into this a little bit when we did the show Ghosts in the Courtroom.
Right.
Where
That's where this kind of came from.
This is where it came from. We just ended up finding that there was a lot of real estate out there that people, in my opinion, are trying to take advantage of others by saying it's haunted. Maybe tack on a couple $1,000s because there's a ghost in there. When I would tell somebody straight out of the gate, if you want me to buy your house, you're going to remove about $50,000 from this asking price because I don't believe in it.
Until you see what I found.
and you know, I've always said it. If a ghost walked up and hung out with me, or I watched a loaf of bread go across the kitchen on its own, sure, we got to have discussions here. Let's sit down and talk about the property.
He's going to be over there looking for wires.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's fishing line.
Yep.
It's fishing line.
But I was going to say, there is some sophisticated cloaking technology in the world.
Yeah.
I've seen a blanket. I've seen all kinds of different things. So yes, I would try to find a logical explanation for this, because there is absolutely no definitive proof whatsoever that there is life after death.
There's also not definitive proof.
And that's why most religions still exist in the world.
I'm
right?
just saying.
'Cause
There's
it's
some
all-
creepy shit that we're going to get into
It's-
that you're like, yeah, okay.
The one thing about death, man, nobody ever comes back and tells us what it's like.
Yes, they do. I've got video.
Yeah, not in so many words.
I just find it funny that, like, you and I, you'll believe something, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm over here like ghosts, and you're like, okay. And I'm like, come on, man.
We do differ pretty dramatically on certain things,
Yeah.
and this is definitely one of them.
Yes.
I just think it's hilarious that we could like be like aliens and everybody's like, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like there is something.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Ghosts? No.
Right.
No way. No way.
it's like the line in the sand.
And the thing is, like with ghosts, like that was a person that once existed, so there's at least something there. Aliens, who knows?
Yeah.
If they
Right?
existed at all. So
No, I totally agree with you on that.
Ghost aliens.
right.
And yes,
Oh, I know.
maybe I'm cherry picking certain things. But the fact of the matter is, I've seen something myself which sparked my belief in, aliens and UFOs and things like that.
And paranormal things.
I've had a type of encounter, right? I have not had a ghostly encounter.
I have.
And that makes the difference.
Have you?
No.
Okay. Whatever.
Moving on. We're done here.
But
Moving to the B block.
I am open to the possibility of ghosts existing. I don't believe they exist because I haven't been convinced that they exist.
Yeah.
And another,
See, I think you're open. He's close. He's gonna say he's open, but if a ghost came and bit him in the ass, he'd be like, "Oh."
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just had a
There was
bad
an
lunch.
earwig with its butt pinchers.
It sniffed me in the butt.
That's never going away.
Yeah, that's never going away. That's never going away. But it's so tough to sit here and talk about a ghost because what one person may say, that was an encounter. Another person may say, that is a cold spot in your home that you need to get fixed.
Yep.
What one person may say is, that orb is a spirit. Another person will say is, you need to do some dusting before you start taking pictures of your home.
Okay, the orbs, I don't really
And when
buy
there's
the
hundreds
orbs,
of thousands
but-
of them, you're like, is it just dusting?
Is it
When
just
there's
dust?
the one, though, that
And
comes in.
when it
it's
moves
like,
weird, I'm on board with that.
that's...
Yeah. But it also could be a bug. I don't know.
It could be a bug. And a lot of times, I'm sorry, but
Or
it
a
is.
teeny UFO.
Now, look, this
Right.
this might end up upsetting viewers or listeners or whatever. but
I'm upset.
just-
Come on.
or my
I'm
wife.
offended.
But the fact of the matter is, look, we all believe our own reality, right? Everybody does. Even between
In my
you-
reality, Floyd believes in ghosts.
He just hasn't admitted it yet.
Yeah.
just haven't come around yet. Well,
Closet ghost believer.
maybe one day, if and when we ever
Oh, we're
are
doing it.
able
I
to
just
set
talked
up
to the guy yesterday.
the Sheridan Inn right here. in
We're
Sheridan,
going to do
Wyoming.
the Caliph Shrine.
Oh, really? I'm good with that
Oh my
too.
gosh.
Because that's
So
an
down.
old,
So
old
down.
building.
Old building, the basement,
Yeah.
It's huge.
expansive.
Yeah.
And they store all of their haunted Halloween theme stuff down there because they do a little
Haunted house thing.
Yeah, but okay, but see,
It's-
you're setting this.
No. I'm not going to touch anything, but I found a room and I'm like, this is Floyd's room.
It just adds to the
Because if he gets through and
Plastic
still doesn't
skeleton in
believe,
the corner. And then,
adds to the ambiance of it all. Because of course there's Halloween decorations.
Yes. Of course.
I think that's stacking the deck.
Do
But
I get
okay.
to pick through the Halloween
It
decorations?
gets really low angle
For
lighting
my
down in the
house
corners
decor?
and stuff to really like.
yeah, scary.
Yeah.
So when it comes to hauntings and real estate and things like that, we have discussed it before, but we haven't gone into super detail. Now, one reason why I really looked for Sarah Friedman's, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly, her blog on the Library of Congress was because she really kind of goes into the law of it all. Has individuals, taken other individuals to court, because there were questions that we brought up during that last show where, what if I don't believe in a ghost and I'm selling my house, but then somebody says, you sold me a haunted house and now I want to take you to court because I don't want to finish my contract. Things like that have happened.
Right.
Now, other times, people
So
have...
I'd be on the opposite end of that spectrum. I'd be like, you said it was haunted, and I've been here for 3 years and nothing's happened. I want my money back.
I don't want a haunted house. I love all things creepy. I do not want a haunted house.
Not to live in it.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
For like 2 a.m, you're like sleeping.
Because also,
You're like,
I'm going to be living with the guy who's going to put me in a mental institution because I'm going to be the crazy one
Yeah,
suddenly.
You're imagining everything.
I'd just be like, man, that's a strong breeze.
Yeah. You haven't slept in 3 days, but it's just all in your
It's
head.
out.
Yeah. The demon breathing down my neck.
eat your nummy
Yes.
pills.
Gaslight
you
the hell out of my
go.
wife, right?
Yes. See? That's why we can't have a haunted house.
Yeah.
All right. Friedman actually notes one case involving a haunted house. The case is Strambovsky
Yeah.
versus Ackley, also known as the Ghostbusters ruling. In this case, the court determined that a house the owner had previously advertised as haunted was legally considered haunted for the purpose of a rescission lawsuit. Am I saying that right?
Rescission, yeah.
Rescission lawsuit brought by a subsequent purchaser. The case is widely taught in law schools due to its unique holding that the house was haunted as a matter of law. Friedman writes that the humor of the majority opinion even weaves its way into the logic of the case, where the judge states, if the language of the contract is to be construed as broadly as defendant urges to encompass the presence of poltergeists in the house, it cannot be said that she has delivered the premises vacant in accordance with her obligation under the provisions of the contract writer.
Interesting.
You sold me a house with someone living in it.
That's wild.
But they're
It's
not
no
living.
different than a squatter.
Yeah, I mean, you're with
But they're
someone
not living.
with someone undead
in it.
Yeah.
So one reason why we had ghosts in the courtroom as a show is because we thought, what are people bringing to the courtroom? What does the U.S. court system believe?
And I'd like to call my first witness that you can't see.
Yeah. This is the ghost that never lies.
Some of you can. Maybe the animals can see.
It's like, holy cow, man. But it's happened. A woman
He
sued.
didn't do it. There we go.
Heard it straight from the ghost.
The non-mouth over there.
I'm telling you. A woman sued God in California and won.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd love to do that.
It's
I
just-
have a lot of reasons.
It's
The list of grievances.
the idea that they couldn't get the settlement from him.
Yeah.
He didn't show up.
Yeah.
There's a
was odd.
lien.
You put a
Yeah.
warrant out for God's arrest and
Just throw out a
It's
bench
just-
for it and
yeah.
wait for it to be filled,
Also,
I
that
guess.
person is not going to heaven.
Yeah, they're right. That's a bad.
pretty
That's
much
a
a
bad
done
deal.
deal there. Yeah.
So, I mean, there has been a lot of this stuff. And then another thing that we'll end up touching on is just not stuff that's gone all the way to the courts, but stuff that people talk about on Reddit, things that people post online. We have to acknowledge that even just addressing certain properties, you are going to affect the free market value of this home.
Mhm.
Okay, whether you say it's haunted, it depending on the buyer, you could shoot the price up, you could drop it down, but
We'll get into it in my
Yeah,
my
and
style.
it brings up
proof.
it always brings up questions, kind of like this one here, where it's like, what if I don't believe in that that stuff? That
Garbage.
stuff. Sorry.
She's gonna say garbage.
What if I don't? I apologize to everybody out there. I
Sounds
really
a little
No,
biased.
you know, it's fine.
It's
What?
been in
It's
our
fine.
vocabulary a lot lately.
What if I don't believe in it and you want to sue me because I sold you a haunted house? Well, I don't believe in ghosts, Your Honor, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And in another
Plausible
court case,
deniability.
in another court case that I found, it was a state's Supreme Court that basically said, we acknowledge this. Can you imagine a medium having to go inspect a home as a requirement of law?
Because Miss Cleo's going to find something.
Oh, there'd be some great business for.
Listen,
Right?
I have a really hard time with mediums
Yes.
because it's like
Yeah,
there's
it's-
so many fakes. There's so
Yes.
many
Yeah.
people that are
Prominent
even
fakes.
even if they were like sensitive at one point in their life, they've taken it so far where they're like, I gotta exaggerate this
Yeah,
if
they
it's
make a
gonna
show
get
out of it.
anything.
and-
But
now-
there are actual, like for me, I believe there are actual sensitive people to that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
But it-
sure.
If a court is going to pass a ruling that becomes precedent for the rest of the country, it's got to be based in logic. I'm sorry, but it does. Because
I think it's logical.
then you got to develop me a system where I can vet out the fake mediums
Right.
from the real
Yeah, because
mediums.
otherwise you slip the medium
Absolutely.
a $100 bill, and all of a sudden they've found what you want them to find.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or now, just like a home inspector, these people come in, they check your electricity, they check your plumbing, they
Dude,
check the structure.
We totally right now, right when we get done filming this, have to patent this idea. Because
They're
I can see
certified
us
medium.
going, well, not so much a medium, but be like, oh, you're buying a home. we need to come in for the
Yes.
night with our REM pods and our spirit boxes. And
Yeah, you have different options you can check for.
yes,
And that's a different price point.
it's like a radon test or a REM pod. Like,
Exactly. Boom. See,
Yeah.
you work kind of in this stuff a little bit more than the
I love
rest of
this
us.
stuff.
I think you love these contracts, which drives me insane. But I'm glad people like you exist. Let's just say that. I'm just very glad people like you exist. But there is like certain requirements before you sell me big stuff, before I insure things. I mean, would a medium coming in and inspecting my home drop the insurance? Would it raise it? Because now you've got a ghost. And now
Right.
we've got to consider what that ghost could do to the structure.
or what it could do to the person or people. Because
And
you
now-
see the people getting shoved down the stairs. And
Yeah. And now what? You know, I go to court and I'm like, well, I'm going to sue the guy who made my stairs. Well, you can't sue me.
We have the,
ghost is the one who pushed you.
we have the apparition clause.
There you go. Right? So, I mean, this opens up a whole realm of just
A whole can of ghosts.
a whole can of ghosts, baby. And those ghosts are wormy as hell. It's
I
just,
like mine in jars myself.
you know, and even some states have actually brought, you know, cases about like fake home inspectors and people who've slipped the $100 bill and unethical individuals who were like, yeah, I'll pass this. No worries.
Right.
And then someone buys a lemon and the whole thing starts falling apart on them and they don't know what the hell to do. And now they're out how many hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what if people could start doing that with mediums and you go to buy a house believing that it's haunted and then just nothing happens. Can I sue you? Nothing. Did the ghost follow you?
The ghost followed him.
Yeah,
that would be
it's
my
not my
first
fault.
thought.
Exactly.
He
yeah.
decided
Ghost
to leave
tied
with
to
us.
you, not the house.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So now could I take you to court?
Sue me for like joint custody of the ghost.
The ghost
I
was
get ghost on weekends. God damn it.
the ghost was part of the contract,
Yeah.
and it has failed to show up. Is there
Maybe.
a time limit on that? Does the ghost have to get? Well, I'll start moving stuff in a week. I don't really like this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe.
In a week.
Who
I mean,
knows?
if Old Faithful doesn't erupt when you expect it to, can you do anything about that?
I didn't
Yeah.
invest in Old Faithful. I invested in a home.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's also something that, you know.
You might have just gone to Yellowstone to look at Old Faithful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm quite disappointed. I'll leave a bad review and
There you go.
didn't see any
You get a
wildlife.
0 on my Yelp.
Yeah. Didn't get gored by any bison. So,
Oh, no, that's going to happen.
One reason why I brought all of these points forward is because I want people to think, you know, this isn't just like fun, fancy-free conversation. It's going to end up in court. This could end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. This could end up with a lot of money laying out there. This is something very serious, and the court systems have to address it. And they have, historically. I mean, good God, a woman sued God.
Which is so crazy, right? I mean, if ghosts don't exist, why are there laws?
you're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of gives you some sort of they exist.
Yeah, otherwise it just
we have
be
to have
thrown
laws.
out.
Why am I making, you know, an oath on a Bible? If you don't believe
You're right.
as a
It
court
doesn't-
system that this is even a thing,
Mm-hmm.
why am I doing that?
Right.
Everything starts to break down. It's a very serious matter. And,
Well-
and even though we joke about it, we have a
Right.
great fun time with it. I imagine there's been some Supreme Court judges who've sat back and gone, what are we doing here?
Yeah, right.
What are we really doing here? All right.
Man-made laws.
Let's move on. Emmy, what'd you find?
So, Zillow has an article, Everything You Need to Know About Buying a Haunted House.
Ooh.
I'm going to be quoting a lot. Again, this is just on Zillow, so go and find it if you want to read the whole thing. But the first thing on here is they have little sections here. Do people seek out haunted houses to actually live in? Absolutely. In recent Zillow survey.
Absolutely.
Not even any.
100%.
Yeah, it's not a no. It's not a yes. It's an absolutely.
Yeah.
In a recent Zillow survey of prospective buyers, 29% said they were more likely to buy a home if it was haunted.
29%?
That's too
Wow.
many. I am not in that percent. I want you to know that right now.
So that's a bit of a gamble you take. Then you're like, well, it's 29%, but it's probably a pretty devoted 29%.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's
man.
a lot of
That's
people.
a lot of people.
And only 33% said that nothing could convince them to buy a house if it was haunted.
So roughly
So it's
a
almost a
third.
wash.
Yeah, it's like a third either way.
Wow. And then there's the third who's
That are
like,
like,
what are you even talking
Yeah,
about?
like I don't care.
Then there's the third. That's Floyd.
Literally.
There's a cold spot here. I want a homeowner inspector to check it out.
Yeah.
And a medium.
The next one. Are there signs that a house might be haunted? Oh, get ready. You're going to love these. Okay, so for the believers, a simple checklist published by Western University in Ontario, Canada, offers signs any horror moviegoer could tick off. Creaky floorboards and slamming doors when no one else is in the home.
Okay, the doors I go with. The I mean,
Look at it.
It's just bad structure.
He's already going. We're on checklist on the check number
Houses
one.
settle. Sometimes they settle in
Here we
different
go.
directions.
Here we
I know.
go.
Sudden drops in temperature unrelated to open
You
windows
literally
or
gave
vents.
that as an example.
Pets that bark or hiss at quote unquote nothing.
Yeah, because animals never do that.
Yeah.
Both of you quit it. Let me have my fun.
I watched her cat stare at a wall for 15 minutes one night.
Because he's
sat there.
senile.
It was doing a
He's
software
old.
update.
Yeah, software update.
He is old.
Just stared at the wall, man.
He does do that now. It's just like
Just stares
forward.
at a wall. You walk up and poke him. You good, dude?
And sometimes he doesn't even move.
Wow.
Wow.
I think old Jasper's losing it.
Oh, he is. Strange noises unconnected to people or events in the house.
Disembodied.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
just the standard stuff.
And the last one, spotting movement out of the corner of your eye, but seeing nothing when you turn.
Yeah, those are all
I just want
good
to point
standard.
out, Floyd, this was done by a university.
Yeah, it's credible.
It's got some weight behind it.
Do you know
Yes.
how many scientific papers out of scientific journals I trust?
All of them.
Anyway,
0.
23%.
33.
others have reported foul odors unrelated to cooking, flickering lights, water that turns off and on seemingly by itself, and furniture or objects that appear to move on their own.
Because a septic tank couldn't possibly be the freaking explanation for that.
What about the furniture?
Furniture, look, uneven houses happen all the time. All the time.
Yeah,
Naysayer.
yeah.
Right? He's boring.
I'm sorry. But, you know, putting a ball on a kitchen table and watching it roll one way or the other is not the definitive
That's
proof of
a
But
good.
ball.
a couch moving is a little different.
Think about our couch. Think about how heavy that sucker is.
And it's been sitting there for who knows how long, and all of a sudden it slides a foot to the
Yes.
left. I mean, that's a little odd.
All right, I would say it was on. And I would say that that is unexplainable. Sure. Now show it to me.
Yeah.
Now give me a definitive moment in time where we can prove that that happened without any influence from anyone ever.
You wouldn't even believe it if it happened.
Yeah. Well, he's
Doubting Thomas.
he's just one of those that there has to be a logical explanation for it.
Doubting Thomas.
Doubting Floydus.
Look, when I was a little kid, I used to get scared by every single noise in the house. And my father walked me through our house one day because he was tired of being tired and showed me every place any noise came from.
Yeah.
And it was
And it ruined
Probably.
you.
And it ruined
now it's ruined you.
Yeah, so your house
Ruined?
wasn't haunted. So now that we
No.
come across one that is, you just automatically think it
Yeah.
can't be.
I like how you're flipping here. buddy.
Yeah.
I'm on
like
fence. I can see both sides.
He's open to it.
Yeah.
That's important to be open
God,
to
what
it.
has happened?
Okay, here we go. So we talked about the signs that your house might be haunted. How do you
Walls are
determine if a house is haunted? Paranormal Investigators of Milwaukee, which is staffed by a volunteer group of 6 science-minded investigators. Stop it. I can hear that look. I don't even have to see you. Has developed a protocol for investigating supernatural
Crap,
claims.
somebody came up with it.
The group investigates an average of 4 cases a month and uses a combination of historical sleuthing and a slew of equipment to
Where are they,
measure
Michigan?
moisture. Milwaukee.
So
Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, so they're a ways away from here. We could still do it.
Yeah, we've got our own market still.
So it uses a combination of historical sleuthing and a slew of equipment to measure moisture, sound, and visuals that can take up to a month to examine and sort out.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I bet that's not cheap.
So
Takes a month's worth of work.
they also go by PIM. paranormal investigators of Milwaukee.
Nice.
During their
Me too.
investigations,
They even made Grant lose it. Nice.
Actually, wouldn't we be more like piss? Paranormal investigation of Sheridan.
Yeah, I just want to get real local. Yeah.
oh my God, stop.
Getting a new home. Better get piss a call. Get them in here. We're gonna piss all over this place.
Oh my God. Now when we do go over.
That's exactly
That's what we're going at. Jackalopes Explore piss. I can't wait.
Oh my God. Shit. Okay.
I heard a sound. Better get piss on it.
This is all over. Don't worry.
Oh man.
It's got to happen now.
It's good. It's
Think you have a
now we
haunted
have to
house?
do it.
Piss on it.
Piss on it.
Piss is on it. Okay, now that we're over our piss.
Everybody okay now?
Okay, during their investigations, PIMS, and I want to say piss now. Just kidding.
Tim's just not as cool.
PIMS investigators also leave out quote unquote trigger objects, strategically chosen items that an otherworldly presence might be drawn to. Could you guess what one of them is?
Old creepy photo. A haunted mirror.
I'd say a little kid's rocking horse.
Ooh.
Gosh, you guys suck at this. No.
Oh.
You got a guess?
I have no idea.
A crucifix,
Oh, of course.
a Bible.
Well, we're not saying it's
That's all
demonic.
holy stuff. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only if it's demonic.
Right?
Okay, a crucifix, a Bible, a deck of cards, holy water, or something that the suspected spirit might have connected with when they were alive. So I mean, it could be a rocking horse, could be something real creepy.
So you got to leave something creepy out there, man. You can't put a bunch of holy stuff out there.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole different game.
Yeah.
So Lee, one of the investigators, says that most of the quote unquote signs that a house is haunted can be explained by light and shadows, problems with the home's heating, electric, and plumbing systems or foundation.
They call it the Floyd doctrine.
I'm telling you, man.
Among the culprits identified during the group's investigations, falling paint chips, reflections from windows, faulty wiring, and plumbing unsecured to floor joints.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
What a lot of people don't know is how quick a pipe will move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You get some pressure underneath that, or you start putting, some fluid through that, a dry pipe, and that thing will sit there and
It'll
tap.
chatter. Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time.
So Lee says investigators find an explanation for 99.999% of the events they investigate. But
There's
not everything.
there's that little piece.
Yeah, okay. So this is my thing. This I could respect because this sounds like it is a bunch of people who are critics and that they're not going in there looking for a ghost. They're going in there looking for explanations.
Right.
Yep.
And they
This-
find it most of the time.
Yeah, this isn't a bunch of people who believe. This sounds like a good, solid organization of a bunch of people who don't, who are saying we are not going to allow you to scam.
See, I would get a
others.
second opinion then because I'd be like, you guys just don't want to admit that it's haunted.
No, I can get behind an organization
Yeah.
like this because I feel a lot of times when
Actually
someone's
can too. Because I want people to, because hauntings and things like this don't happen as often as people think they do.
Yeah, exactly. If it's gonna happen, it's probably super rare.
You're right.
Until you move in. Then it's like, oh, it's
It's nightly.
Okay, so on to the next. I think I bought a haunted house. Can I get rid of the ghosts? Question mark.
That's a good one.
See, now it's like the crucifix and holy water,
There you go.
exorcism
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Hundreds of groups and societies, some fringe, some so mainstream. I'm sorry, I got confused on what that even meant, but I get it now. That they have their own TV shows. Offer services to homeowners in finding and removing ghosts. Their methods range from inhaling spirits and exhaling them over a body of water to saging to reciting prayers or biblical passages.
I wonder how much they're charging these poor people.
Why does it always
You know
taste
where
like
it goes?
onions?
You know where it goes? Right back in the milk jug.
Stop it!
Yes. Yes, it does.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back through all the episodes.
God, you weren't even there for that one.
I wasn't there for that. I know it. This is like the grocery one, though, right? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the fruit or
Icky
whatever.
food,
I don't know. I can't
rubbery
remember.
food.
Yes.
So another one is Catholic priests routinely conduct exorcisms to expel demons from a home, according to the Catholic News Agency, noting that a demonic infestation would involve reciting a particular prayer, inviting God back into the house, casting out the evil presence, or blessing the home with holy water.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Now, I don't. They may ask for like a donation or something, but I don't think the Catholic Church charges for that.
No.
And as a priest, that is his duty. So
Right.
I totally agree with that. Even if you're just a Catholic and you want your home blessed, it's good to have a priest come in, just check it out, walk through, give a blessing.
Sure.
It's good juju for the house, right? It's fantastic. When it comes to like people saying, you know, I'm going to get my team and we're going to go in there and we're going to remove this ghost, that'll be $4,500.
Yeah.
Now I got an issue.
Yes.
Now I got an issue.
Well, also using it, I mean, because a lot of the time they're not even going to charge you if they're using it as TV, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to make this shit look good, you know? Because
Wow.
it's not real,
Right.
because it's TV. So if you think your home is haunted, Lee, I'm going to go with Lee. Lee, the scientist from PIM, not PISS, recommends keeping a
Lame.
journal for 2 weeks, documenting in detail what you see, when you see it, and who else was present when the happening occurred. Study the journal for patterns. Does this event occur at the same time every day? Are the patterns related to weather or temperature? Are there possible structure or maintenance issues at play, such as a leaky roof or misaligned downspout?
I hear that sound every time she gets in the shower.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
If the
Like, yep, there
if
it
journal
is.
entries don't shed light, it might be time to call a credible investigator to check things out.
Like piss.
I don't think we're credible yet.
I think we are.
We're on our way.
As long as we get online and get some sort of horse crap certification, I think we're good to go.
Oh my gosh, piss certification.
Yeah.
So our next little section here is, what is a seller required to disclose about suspected ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of varies per state, though.
Yes. Real estate law varies by state and city. So ultimately, there isn't a one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to disclosing if there are spirits. Like, if there are spirits. If you believe in that. I don't know. It's hard when some people believe and some people don't.
Yeah, Floyd.
Right?
Don't try to sell me a haunted house. I won't buy it.
That's what the market's like, though.
Yeah.
So, if you have ever publicly claimed that a house is haunted, you're required to share the information with the potential buyer, says Alan, which I don't know who Alan is, but Alan's someone in this article. So, it just told me. Alan, the real estate investor. So, this is due to the one you were talking about, Strombowski?
Yeah.
Strombowski versus Ackley?
Yep.
A New York
What's like
Supreme
the most
Court.
famous one?
It is. Well, it was probably the first one where
Right.
like I said,
Where it was
sets
actually
precedent.
adjudicated. Yeah.
Exactly. Once you set that precedent, everyone's got to follow it.
And referred to the Ghostbusters ruling in here again. Let's see here. Sorry, my printer printed things a little oddly.
Probably a ghost in
Yeah.
the printer.
Yes.
Yep.
Honestly, that's for every printer.
Every
I swear
printer's
to God.
haunted.
And it's
Man.
like, it's a angry spirit, I'm
If-
telling you.
If there's a ghost in our house, then he needs to up the quality of his haunted location.
I think every printer that's made, they put a little curse on it. The drivers
Witch
won't
doctor
work.
standing
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's
No ink.
Chicken
So,
foot.
if they're
Chicken
saying
foot.
it's haunted, they need to know, like, they need to disclose why they're saying it's haunted.
yeah.
So, another thing is on here in the same section, real estate agents in states like California, where disclosure of deaths at the home must be disclosed, will sometimes include that information in the listing, usually with the caveat that it was a natural death at home opposed to a murder or
Right. And there's a time limit
Something
on that too, if I
tragic.
remember.
Yeah,
Or
I think
by your own hand. Yeah.
in one state, I saw that it's like 3 years within the last, and that's not a long time.
No.
You know,
No, especially when most ghosts are Victorian era.
Right.
Obvious.
Yes.
because,
Obviously.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gonna get a millennial in there like me and just be annoying.
You know, I do have like a little BS explanation though, as to why it's Victorian, why most ghosts are Victorian.
Because it's scary?
No, because that is when the paranormal and the occult hit its height and popularity.
Like spiritualism and
People
things
were
like that.
always holding seances. People were always using Ouija boards and all this other little
Maybe they open the
trick
portal.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then CERN comes along and just explodes it.
But what if it was something where it like put them more in tune
Right.
with being able to do that or whatever? Look, I'm just trying to help you guys out. Here, okay?
I appreciate
That's
that.
all I'm saying.
So I thought this was kind of a cool number. According to the CDC, more than 31% of U.S. deaths occur in the home.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it in 2018. It says that the thing in 2020 probably boosted
that
that
up.
number up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I think this is my last little segment. No, I have two more. Okay, I'll try to be quick. Does a seller have to disclose phenomena like unexplained noises? It depends. Not every local or locale or state requires disclosure of events that might attach a stigma to the home. But sellers generally are required to disclose conditions. So if the unexplained noise, is like attached to a floorboard or a pipe or something like that.
Every time it gets rainy, I hear this creak.
You have to tell them that. So you kind of got to find what the noise is.
Right.
Unless you can't.
But I could see that. I can understand that. Absolutely.
Yep.
Because it might be linked to, well, the reason why you're hearing that is because of this drip and it's structurally damaging your home. You
Right.
just haven't found it yet, but I can nail it.
Yep.
And Zillow is like, hey, do a home inspection. That's the other thing that's on that little section there.
I'm going to tell anybody and everybody, if you're going to buy a house, get a third-party inspector in there.
So-
ASAP.
Yep.
And piss.
And piss.
Any photo has the piss watermark on it.
Watermark. Oh my God. Okay, so we were talking about this. You were like, if it's got a higher price tag, then I want
Can I
money
argue
off.
it down?
Yes.
So this one says, do haunted houses come with a smaller price tag? Houses associated with ghost stories tend to sell at a lower price, mostly because they're older estates that have been neglected.
There you go. There
Yes.
They look creepy.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
By this person's own estimate, about 20% of the estates she sold over the years have been homes where people have died because, there's a lot of them. Some by their own hand or at the hand of others. All of them sold, though, she says, as long as the price was right.
Yep. Well, a house is a house is a house. But yeah, I could see that, it's haunted. And one little kid says that because things look run down and then all of a sudden the whole town believes the goddamn place is haunted. And so now nobody wants to buy it. So no one's taking care of it. So now it's junk.
Yep.
Right.
35% of prospective buyers say they will be convinced to buy a haunted house if the price is lower.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And some owners want to sell haunted houses as a novelty in an effort to justify a higher price tag, says the elusive Alan, which I added that. But most houses with reputation for being haunted are run down, so generally cheaper to buy.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
that's my little segment there. But yes, Zillow, it's called Everything You Need to Know About Buying a Haunted House.
I love that it's such a thing. That Zillow's like, we gotta
make
do an article.
Yep. Do some research. Go talk to some experts. Let's see just exactly what it is. Because you're right. It is that big of
It's
a
a
thing. I imagine there's a lot of people out there who want to live in a haunted house, who
don't.
would enjoy that.
I'm making that very clear.
I don't know that anybody would enjoy it.
Well,
I mean, maybe.
depends on the ghost,
small
man.
sect of society, maybe.
Yeah. A small group of
Very
enthusiasts.
small.
Yeah.
we got to think about it, though. Modern media has made the ghost look like a bad guy. Every ghost
I mean,
wants
if
you
the
out of the
haunted house,
right?
they're doing dishes and like,
Right.
You look
I wake
outside,
up and
the
I'm like,
lawnmower's moving.
oh my gosh, my laundry is all taken care of.
Yeah.
Awesome. awesome.
Yeah, but you know, like in poltergeists, they stack the chairs, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine like walking in and all of a sudden, you leave the room, turn around, walk back in, and all the clothes are folded?
Yeah, right. They're not going to do that.
Right? See, but what
Not
if you
wasting
had
my
a helpful
afterlife
ghost?
doing that.
Casper, the friendly ghost.
Yeah,
What
little
if-
Casper.
What if you had a situation? Why does every ghost have to be a villain? What
Listen.
if you
See, I
lived
don't
in
think that they do.
No, I don't either because I've experienced a couple things, but the main one that I had was at my mom's house when I was growing up. There's a ghost in the kitchen, I am convinced, and I'm pretty sure it's just a little old lady.
Did
You
it
know.
make cookies?
No, she didn't make anything.
Dang it.
You just catch a glimpse of her when you turn the corner of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I went a little bit different, and I went with haunted real estate listing photos. Very specific.
Yes.
So things that were captured by real estate agents when they were either, staging the home or taking photos of it to put online or taking a video or whatever. So I don't know in what order Grant may have these, but if you just pull something up, I'll talk ad nauseum about it.
One of those is the one that I sent to, and
Yeah.
I got some comments about that one on my phone. Little screenshots of Reddit comments.
Okay.
So we'll see what we want to go with here first. Maybe. Hang on.
Here we have
Grant,
a
hurry up.
jackalope.
I love this
Oh
one.
my God.
That
So-
is no.
Check this out though. This is the story behind this one. The real estate agent was in this home by herself, taking photos of the home. This is the final picture. This is like the fourth or fifth picture from different angles that she took. Swears up and down nobody else was in the home at the time. So this is the last picture, and you can see, it's got hands. It's
Because it's obviously a person.
creepy.
Right.
But this picture, so on that side in the bar stool, it's not manifested completely
Yeah,
yet.
only the bottom part of it is
just its
visible.
butt.
Only
Sniffing
the
the
dress.
butt.
Yes.
Sniffing the butt.
There, it's just the bottom part of it that's hanging down. There again is the booty. But that last one, and then that one, you can see it's starting to get a little higher in the seat. Swears up and down. She was the only person in the home at the time.
Do we know what method she used to take these pictures? Because it
I
looks
don't
pretty
know.
old.
Actually, this was a more recent listing. This was
Yeah.
just within the
So
last month.
Just really bad camera quality?
Maybe.
I think
Man,
it's,
that's a really nice home, though. Holy
yeah.
cow.
I believe it was 1.4 million.
Yeah.
6-bed, 5-bath.
So is this just a different angle of that
Yeah.
same one?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna look at the bar.
The other
This is
one's
like
zoomed
it's the
in.
fourth bar stool over from the wall there. That this whatever it is
Swears up and down.
Hmm.
Didn't even see anything until took the photos, was arranging them, put them online.
I suggest watching the YouTube video for this one versus just the podcast format.
Yeah.
right.
Mine, you got to almost tune in to YouTube just because I got a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of visuals.
Photos and
yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
Mine will be that way.
Anyway, so that's that one. That had the internet buzzing.
too. My opinion on that is there was something there, and it's just been poorly edited out in a few of the photos.
I actually think
Well,
that
what was
too.
it that was there?
A
A
person.
ghost.
A person.
So this one, I love this one because not only do we have
Oh yeah,
the creepy
yeah.
lady with a wide brim hat. Grant thought she was ironing, which I love.
It does kind
But
of look like
they
that.
have the red circle around her and an arrow pointing at it. Like the red circle wasn't enough.
Just in case the red circle got
It's
by
right
it.
here.
It's here in the circle right under the arrow.
So this one is also the one I have.
Yeah.
And I have a couple top comments on Reddit from where we
Oh.
found this, which I find fantastic. So one of them was, "It seems cheap, but Napoleon's ghost haunts it, and who wants to be seen with that asshole?"
Good point.
And then, as long as he's clean and keeps to himself, non-smoker, I'm fine with that.
yeah.
And then another one, "If it's a mannequin, why does it have arms? I've never seen with arms and a face, especially one kind of mannequin used for sewing at home, that they almost never have a head or arms." Because everyone's thing was it's got to be a shadow of mannequin.
It's got arms and a hat and a face.
Yeah,
and you can see through it.
The arms is what kind of throws me off because a lot, like, unless it's like a store mannequin.
Okay, but look at that arm. If that's the arm of a woman, she's been hitting the gym.
Well, she's been doing a lot of ironing.
Listen,
That's her ironing.
I'm not saying it's a man or a woman.
See, I'm almost seeing it as like an old-timey soldier.
Yes.
With the hat, the coat that is a bit bigger on the arm.
Helmet.
And I think it's pareidolia that we're even seeing a face there.
So do I. I don't see a face.
Stop, both of you.
Well, I don't see the face, but I see a head.
I can see a face.
This other one says,
I'm really good at pareidolia.
it's the ghost of Mary Poppins.
Oh,
okay, that's all right.
I can see that.
Yeah. That's all right. That's okay. I'll be okay with that.
All right, moving on.
And Shadow Man got some guns is the last one.
Floyd.
That one I would go with. Oh, this one. Got to zoom in a little bit, but again, real estate agent taking photos of the screen porch, and you can see these creepy kind of. He's almost like this guy in the circle on our left,
Like he's being tortured.
To the right, if you really zoom in on that maybe you can't. Oh, and I swear that looks like, again, a soldier saluting somebody in the foreground that's closer to us.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
And I'm saying it's reflections of the people outside.
She was the only one there?
Yeah, well, I'm saying reflections and tricks of light.
If light and shadow.
Yeah. I took photos for a very long time.
May not even be people.
And that's the thing.
It's ghosts.
As you said, like the pareidolia really does take effect in a lot of different things. And when I published my photos, I had to make sure that there wasn't anything inappropriate or anything else in it. So, I mean, when you look at that, you really look at your photos.
Also,
study
they have
it.
not cleaned the window.
Yeah.
Right,
Can I just say they have not cleaned the
Except
window.
in the one spot where you can see the dude's face.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go through those photos
This
and you
this
see a
one-
lot of different things.
This one comes from us, to us from the land of down under.
Yes.
Where I'm like, well, yeah, it could just be a giant deadly spider because they have all kinds of horrible things there. But they were in this home walking through, just taking photos of it because the wife couldn't go or whatever. And this thing, whatever it is, this giant blackish praying mantis looking dude.
It's like a hooded, cloaked kind of
is hanging out.
kind of thing.
It. No, that
Couple of eyes.
yeah, but you're really reaching for that. That could be 2 pieces of fruit dangling from a tree.
Honestly, I was thinking it was a tree, but that's...
No, it's clearly something paranormal.
Zoom out, Grant. I think it's easier to kind of make it out. Well, yeah, like further out, it looks more like it.
You know what?
That's zoomed out.
It kind of
Zoomed out.
kind of looks like Mothman.
Yes.
But with like white eyes versus red eyes.
That's total pareidolia, though, because we're
just
seeing
a-
eyes of those two
A
objects,
big old
and then
moth
we fill in the rest.
Yeah.
in Australia.
In Australia, it could happen.
A big old moth.
It could be moth.
It very well could be, yeah.
I'm not saying it's not.
I do like the
Mothman.
color next to the stairs, though. That's a nice.
Yeah, this is my favorite. So she's in the house. It's 10 o'clock at night. She's filming for her website in this house, and she's explaining things to the camera. Door just opens, to which Floyd says, "Wind." But wait,
Or just a cricket house that
Could be the wind.
it gets better. She said that the doors were not open and the windows were not open.
It's like I was thinking her hand was
Well,
like
So
something weird.
she's kicking through here, and door opens, and I'll just narrate the video for you. So she's walking through the house, and at one point,
Did I do the audio?
we could do audio. If you want to do audio, we can.
If we can,
If it even comes through, I don't know. But so she's kicking through the house.
Look how tiny that latch is. Look how tiny that latch is.
Yeah,
That is a tiny latch.
And you don't know about the
That's
part
fine.
that it latch, the striker plate maybe all
let
messed up.
Aaron
too.
finish.
The latch is fine.
Yeah.
So she's walking through the house, and she's like, "Hey, you know what? If there is something here, I'm not scared, but just wanted you to know. I saw the door. It's okay." And so as she's walking through the house, looking for whatever, any signs of anything,
Mm-hmm.
and showing us that there is no one else there, as she gets into one of the other rooms, and I apologize, the video's a little lengthy. If you skip ahead,
All the other doors are
right
open, I've noticed.
So she's kind of just chilling in the hallway, and all of a sudden,
there's a room with no lights.
You hear the fire detector, the smoke detector, go off. It's like beep, 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 and you'll see when it goes off because she'll pan around kind of quickly, and so she goes to investigate that room. It's right about here, I think, that it starts going off. Yeah, and for those of you on, a listening platform, you're going to have to go watch it. So she runs down to check out what the heck is going on. Oh, I think you went backwards.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Oh.
I went too far.
Oh, you went too far.
A little bit, sorry.
So, and you got to keep in mind, too, I'm watching this, it's like midnight. And most of this stuff, I'm like, maybe not, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But then this happens. So, things going off, run down the hall, bad camera angles and everything. And it falls.
Oh, wow.
That's right in front of her, off the ceiling.
I jumped a little.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this at midnight, and I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, great. She's going to come around the corner, and there's going to be a shadow bastard standing there.
Yep.
And it wasn't. So, I mean, it's only a matter of seconds. But then when she gets to that doorway and that thing fell, I'm sitting on the floor. The dogs are sitting. I'm like, holy shit. Scare the dogs. But it freaked me out. If I were in a place and there was some wacky stuff going on, yeah, okay, the latch on that door. It's an old door. The strike plates probably wore out. Yeah, maybe it's crooked and the door opens. Fire, smoke detector starts going off. I go to investigate and it falls in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be pissing my pants.
I can see like the vibration of the noise of it making it fall, but the timing where it happens to fall right as she comes up to it.
See, and that's another thing.
Crazy.
So running through that house looked like a pretty old place.
Okay.
Even some of like the bathroom looked very 1960s, which means, and could have been updated from there for all I know. Meaning that like, how old is that home? Because those doors look pretty old. The original door that we saw open had a hole in the top, so there was either a lock there, or that's the location of the old door handle. And they had to move it to meet code.
That's what used to hold the door closed, and they took it out.
So
yeah,
they've had problems with that door in the past.
Now, see, for me, if I were the person filming that, I would stop recording right there and start over again.
So would I. I would close the door and just start
that's
over.
When you grab your camera and walk around the house looking for stuff.
All right,
when
but
you
now,
are a woman alone in a house, it looks like at night, I'm a fucking record.
Yeah. But
Just do your
as
thing
she's
during the
running
day.
through the house, so let's say the fire alarm just starts going off. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, well, now I got to go look at that. And yeah, there is some weird stuff going on. Her running through the house, being as old as that house looks like it is enough vibration to weaken that fire alarm if it was just barely hanging on. Then, as she gets,
You, sir, are pissing all over me. I don't know if I like it.
but when you run through a house, we've all been in an old house. When you run through it, or you hear somebody running through it, you hear people moving.
Totally a plausible explanation.
Totally plausible explanation.
But I don't know. It's like, how many coincidences are a coincidence?
Yeah, and then what caused the fire alarm to start sounding in the first place?
Well, and some people don't believe in coincidences at all, and I don't know if I do.
Right?
I can't sit here and say that I do. Was that weird? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Would it unease me? Oh, yeah. I'd feel uneasy. But I'd be instantly, I'd be like, well, it was running around. That fire alarm must have barely been hanging on. If you want the truth, you want to know what I would have done right there on the spot? Where's the ladder? Get it back up there. That's got to be here. I'm going to continue on with the video.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
I know, but
this is why you're getting the room in the basement.
That's the life of the
Yes.
non-believer.
I'm just saying.
And I am not staying in there with you. I
That's
want you to know
fine.
that.
I'll sit there by myself. It doesn't concern me. I'll come out alive and unscathed.
Listen, I'm not going to say the spirits are going to kill you. I am just saying I am not going to be there to make you
sketchy.
for you to gaslight me into thinking there's nothing there.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep. So before the show, we were sharing some of the photos and stuff, and we all decided what kind of ghost we would come back as.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Floyd.
I would be, the hat brim. I would make my brim of my hat so big that it would look
Like a pimp hat.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do believe that I said my hat brim would show up 5 minutes before I went. Like everyone would be like, "Wow, what's coming?"
What is that coming
What
through
is
the
that
door?
coming through the door? It would be ridiculous. That's the ghost that they would just call me the brim.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
That would be my ghostly
I also
apparition.
came up with like he'd be like brimstone or something,
Oh,
like
yeah.
make it
Yeah.
sound way worse, but
Yep.
it's because of the hat brim.
because of the hat brim.
Yeah, yeah.
Sisson.
All right, I got a slideshow, tying into the apparition that appeared in the bar stool, where I think it's, just someone that was there that was poorly edited out. There are some things that, just show up in realtor videos and photos. And I think a lot of it is just like they've got so many pictures. There's, 20 pictures of each listing. They've got all these listings that they just sometimes don't take the care they need to take to get these, pictures edited up, or something that just don't care.
Is that a ghost?
Well, I think that's actually a person, probably. I mean, I don't know what the listing on this one said, but maybe the living room has a nice view of the parade route. I don't know.
Or maybe he's a flasher.
It could be. Go ahead and hit the next one there. This one, it says,
Oh my God.
it says 3 beds, 2 baths.
Pissing.
I'm guessing if you look inside the house, there's only 1 bath. The other one might be.
The other bathroom's
Yeah, it's
right
outside.
there.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's a picture from an actual real estate listing that made it onto
Fantastic.
Yeah, go ahead and hit the next one. And you were talking about the going back into the milk jug. I don't know if that's tied into this or not.
Not even kind of, but that's fine.
Wow.
Or is it just, are they interrogating the milk? Like, where were you this morning when I needed you for breakfast?
Putting the fan there just to be like, here, let this fan noise irritate you.
Yeah, did they just not completely clean up after breakfast? I mean, for some reason, who knows what, there's a carton of milk there in the middle of the photo.
That's the
Full of spirits.
the realtor's snack. Like they just, instead of a water bottle, it's just a milk jug everywhere they go.
Some kind of
A
sad,
warm one.
kind of sad stuffed animals there, which, yeah, I mean, they look kind of sad. Why not just move them out of the photo when you're taking the
Honestly,
picture?
if you want the truth, one reason why I would imagine that those were left in the room is scale.
Maybe
exactly.
so.
No, because they're haunted. Duh.
And I think this
Eeyore
next
is
one.
not haunted. He's
That
only
one might be.
haunted
This
by
one
his
here.
own mind.
Gangsta.
Yeah, I mean, I think the teddy bear's picnic didn't go as planned. Maybe. I mean, it looks like.
Oh yeah, he looks dejected.
He looks like he's like rocking himself, comforting himself on the chair there.
He's haunted.
Yeah.
He's haunted.
Yeah, and to me, I think I'd take that out of the photo if I were taking the picture, but I don't know.
If I'm going to put it up on a real estate company,
gosh.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a house listing.
If we ever had to sell our house, we'd put Bone Daddy in the pictures.
Oh, every one of them.
I love that.
Sometimes animals find their way into the photo. I mean, yeah. So
That'd be Hugo.
sometimes it's the dog. Go ahead and hit the next picture.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Sometimes it's the dog that gets in the photo. Sometimes it's the horse.
Oh my god.
Hit the next one. Sometimes it's the other horse.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I don't want to buy a house that has horses in it.
and this photo was used in the listing, 17 of 20. Sometimes it's the alien pod. I don't know what that is.
A blanket.
It looks like a
But-
crumpled up curtain or
Yeah.
blanket or
I
something.
like
that is not-
alien pod.
Just sometimes it's the lawnmower.
My God.
Wow.
I'm thinking like elsewhere in this listing, you probably like they had the garden shed and the vacuum cleaner was in the garden shed. Yeah.
The stalker
funny.
next door.
Here it's got a nice home office, and one of the nice things about working from home is you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder all the time. But maybe not always the case. Go ahead and hit the next one. Now this is interesting. This one here, I think it was a corrupt photo. Probably
Yeah.
the image got messed up. Either that or it's a rip in the space time.
I was just gonna say it could be a portal.
Yeah, it's two separate photos.
the whole right half. I mean, the things are shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog is maybe getting the hell out of there. But yeah,
That's a little weird.
this one here.
I
Yeah,
don't
see,
like,
yeah.
I don't like that one.
Sometimes sinister
Nancy
things.
from next door is coming over and you didn't know about it.
You have milk.
Yes, it's on that table
on the
all by itself. Sometimes sinister things show up in reflections in the mirror. Go ahead and get the next one.
God, that's
Sometimes even more sinister things show up in the
Oh
reflections.
no! Oh no!
I mean, at least it's in the bathroom. I mean, they Take your shirt off in the bathroom. That's all right.
Listen, he's naked. You know
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
like
yeah.
having
good,
some.
Good thing that's not a full length mirror,
It's
right?
concerning.
Talking about editing the photos. This
Yeah.
one here, like they wanted to make the hedge look a little nicer, maybe.
It
I mean,
looks
it's just
horrible.
And it hurts my
yeah,
eyes.
total
But
amateur
if you
clone
cross
tool.
your eyes, it's like one of those 3D things.
Yeah.
You can clearly
You can
see a ghost.
Yeah, you can see a whale coming out at you in 3D.
It's a Statue of Liberty.
And here's another one that they edited. Yes. I mean,
Why would you use that to sell a house?
I think it would look better if it was furnished. Okay. My brother has Microsoft Paint. He can make it work. Huh.
Oh, it's a ghost couch because there is no reflection.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's all I've got. I think that's probably the last.
That's fantastic.
Oh no, there we go. We have the MC Escher stairs. This one here, I think, is just like I don't know if it's a portal to another dimension.
Crazy.
Just
Oh, shit.
yeah, or if it's just
Weird.
like a weird. Like sometimes in these weird stairwells, it's hard to get like the right camera angle. And this one, I think,
Oh,
That's
that's
just
convenient.
funny.
my guess is that's the stairwell for emergency evacuation.
Yes.
And they just used a stock photo by mistake.
I know what that's for.
Nice.
That's the
Nice.
the fun footboard, as you like to call
Oh,
it.
and then this one here, like I thought maybe this was just like they accidentally used the wrong camera. They had the front-facing camera. Instead of
Yeah.
but there were multiple pictures. There's 7 pictures. Pretty much all of them were like this with different costumes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And this one here, I think this one is one of those things where like the lights hanging from the wires there are not up to code.
No fingers.
Yeah.
Outside of fingers.
Yeah, we got to go back to that other one there. And
Look
like
at it.
the door's not sealing very well, and you do have the severed hand.
Oh,
So,
God.
I mean, there's
Or a pile of carrots. I'm not.
I will tell you, the one with the woman taking selfies in the house and calling that selfie, or like
an
the home,
accidental selfie. Yeah.
or like the home photos.
Yeah.
I've seen on Marketplace where people are like apartment for sale, and it's like a mirror picture of
Yes.
them, and I'm like, why would?
And they're clearly like showing off their.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was the case. Like they were different.
Assets.
She was wearing different clothes, and every one of them they were
Yeah.
all. Yeah, it was.
Oh my god, what a goof!
Yeah, and that one I think was just another one where obviously there's a person there, not a ghost. But if you remove the person out of there, you'd have the reflection in them. Like someone could edit the photo out of,
See,
take the
we
person
have
out.
the reflection, and then we have the couch without the reflection.
Yes.
Vampire couch.
So just a lot of that stuff slips in
Yeah.
to real estate listings.
Yeah. Like you said, Steve, how many tens of
couch.
thousands of photos are taken by these?
And they're not always skilled at Photoshop.
No.
Well, and that's the thing. They're real
Well, they're
estate
not always
agents.
skilled at photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real estate agents. They're not photographers.
Right.
I mean, a lot of real estate agents will actually end up hiring somebody to come in and take photos for them. I was actually offered to do that, but I found it to be quite boring, so I skipped. I have.
You could have made it more
Yeah,
fun. Photoshop that couch into it.
Well,
put a
just like
little
stage-
teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Change some
ghosts.
weird.
I
like,
have done it
stuffed
once.
animals.
I have done it once, and I did it for somebody a long time ago. But it was just kind of do that. But again, because I felt like my reputation was always on the line, I sat down and I looked through every single little thing in that photo because I knew that the public was going to be able to see it. I also used to take photos of like the big class photos of high schoolers
Right.
and the team stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, teenagers are always trying to get a finger or something else in there.
Yeah.
And so you've got to look at every single individual kid in that photo to make sure that, okay, his eyes are open. He's not flipping me the bird. This is going in their yearbook. It's got to look good.
Happened with our wedding photos. We had a big group picture. There was a guy giving us the finger.
Yeah. And you're like,
That's hilarious.
They edited it out.
Yeah.
Kind of poorly, but
yeah, but still, like, you see it later and you're like, come on, Jeff. Don't be a jerk, man.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right in the
one
middle of
good
the
one,
picture.
bro.
Too. He was in the
One
middle of the
good
whole
one.
group.
Oh no.
Just cut them out and splice it together.
Haunted houses. Yes, I mean, I don't take issue with haunted houses. I don't take issue with the idea of believing in life after death or being able to come back. I take issue with people who try to take advantage of individuals who believe in these things. I don't think it's someone being naive. I think it's somebody being hopeful. We don't know what's beyond the veil, and so we have to guess. We have to guess, or we have to have faith and listen to somebody else. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, we'll bring it back down to earth at the end.
I'm coming back not in period clothing. I'm coming back in cargo shorts, flip-flops, and a Mr. Zog sex wax t-shirt.
Yes.
And I'm going to be the ghost. It's like, what's up?
Ghost bro.
Yeah.
It's Ghost bro.
You got Got a slice from yesterday. you hear the fridge door.
Yeah.
It's always
And you're
taking
like,
my beer.
Oh my God. And you go in there and it's just me with like a piece of pizza in my mouth and I just vaporize.
And the pizza just slaps onto the floor.
Yeah, with a big bite out of it.
See, that's awesome.
That's what I'm
fun.
doing.
That would be fun. Or hear the water, like I told you, hear the water in the bathroom. There's a distant light, and you're like, who's in there? And it's Ghost Bro just peeing.
Yeah.
And I'd be the guy, like, you'd hear the early Justin Bieber album just start playing.
Why is my Xbox always turning on?
Oh, man. The torture that you could give people.
And the DJ comes on, that's the new one from Justin Bieber. And then it just goes quiet.
See, I'd go more the route of like just playing Panama forever, all
over
the
again.
time, over
That's
and
your
over and
hell.
over.
You would
and
not do
over.
that because you'd have to listen
Yeah,
to it too.
would be hell.
With
Yeah.
your little ghost ears.
Well, who wants to take the last on this one? Aaron, go ahead. Your
I
subject.
completely believe in haunted homes. I completely believe in ghosts. I think it's fun. Not some of them. Like, not demonic, because that's never fun. But ghosts in general, yeah.
Mhm.
I've seen so many unexplainable things. I mean, yeah, you can sit there and poo-poo 99.99% of it. But at some point, you look at some of the things and you're like, no, that was unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the only explanation is that it's unexplainable, which is explainable by saying ghost. That's kind of it.
Maybe that's what we're always looking for, you know? I mean,
An explanation to the unexplainable. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you know, as much as it's probably not an even split, but as much as there are the Floyds that will explain all of it, there are the people
doubting
that
Thomas.
the doubting Floydists will want to see it.
I want that on a t-shirt.
And that's I'm going to say that for real. Like, look, if, you know, because there are stories about people being absolutely tortured by something in their house, right? Like they can't get any sleep. It's just constant. People have had to sleep in other locations.
It's even worse when you have children and they're saying the creepiest things.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And
I
you're not
understand.
sleeping and they're not sleeping.
It's something that could be a very poor experience for others. And I don't want to devalue what these people are going through. What I am saying is if you have a situation like that, give me a call. I'll go stay in the house.
Give Piss a call.
Give Piss a call.
It doesn't, you know, show me some solid evidence. There's another great BuzzFeed podcast out there that they no longer do, where these two individuals visited, I swear, like every haunted location in the world. And the critic remained the critic.
That's why, see, like even when shit happens.
Because most of it can be explained.
Yeah.
Even there were situations where
Steven, you're on our side. Don't.
Well, you would have to rule out all of the possible explanations before you would be convinced.
absolutely
It would have to be like just concrete evidence where you cannot possibly even have a chance of it there being other explanation for it.
And Steve, you have to agree with me on this one when I say that there's enough that I don't.
Don't make eye contact.
There's
Don't
a-
make eye contact.
There's enough of my own ignorance of natural phenomena,
Yes.
of structural integrity, of engineering, of electronics, of plumbing, of anything having to do with that I could sit back and say that's explainable to the right person.
Right. Yes.
I don't know enough to be able to stand in a room and say that's unexplainable. Because I could have a structural engineer come in and say, no, man, that's this board squeaking. I guarantee it's this specific board.
Yep.
Or a plumber saying it is this pipe. All it would take was a tie down. Or an electrician saying that reason why that's flicking, screw the damn light bulb the rest of the way. Professionals out there who could take care of these matters.
Yeah.
My own ignorance is the only reason I could sit there and say that's unexplainable.
Right. Yeah. But you could also say, well, I can't explain it, but there probably is an explanation for it.
Exactly.
Not everything is explainable.
Look, man, I'm not doubting your faith on this or that they even exist. I just don't believe them in them myself. If an apparition formed in front of me and looked right at me,
Swamp gas.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that maybe that's proof.
I'm calling
Maybe that's the
Aaron,
proof that I need.
if we ever get a haunted house, I'm calling Aaron
Yep.
to get me out of the mental institution
Yep.
because he'll believe me.
And I'm just saying.
I'll be
if you-
like, no, it's fine. I'm part of PIT.
I
She's telling the
kids.
truth.
I would say that if you ever have any chance of, like, you think something's haunted, get piss on it.
There you go. All right. You've been listening to Jackalopes Explore, and I'm sorry.
Sniff it in the butt. Sniff it
Sniff it in the butt.
Sniff it in the butt.